Yo, party people in the place to be. What's good? Welcome to Old School Knicks. You know what this is? Old School Knicks is that jump down memory lane where we reminisce a little bit about Knicks of the past and how they relate to current day situations and such. I'm your man's Uncle Freezy. I'm joined by the host, the creator, and producer, Anthony D. What's good, sir?
Brrr, Bim! Uncle Freezy, Ibna Easy. We doing all right. Good morning, Knicks Nation. Salute to all of you. Thank you very much again for joining us, on a Sunday after church, before church, however it go. We want to thank you for come taking a ride with us. So, Freezy,
The perfect
let's
way to
get it.
start your week. The perfect way
A-
to start your
a-
week.
Absolutely. It's the realest morning show. And you always keep it real behind the scenes with your cool in the gang. And I love cool in the gang.
Number
Let's first
one.
and foremost get it right. Let's first and foremost get it right. Joanna, celebrate. Summer Madness is probably
Don't
to
don't
me
don't do
is
that.
probably to me the greatest jazz piece that I've ever heard. And I'm not even a jazz buff like that, but when you drop Summer Madness, you know,
Right.
April going into May, you know what I mean? It sets the tone for the summer. So, but Earth, Wind, and Fire, my friend, along with the Isley Brothers, my friend, are the two greatest bands,
Get out of here.
groups
Get out of here.
ever, ever
Get out
made.
of here.
Okay.
But
And I'm not just saying that because Reasons was my first dance, you know, you know what I'm saying? If
I
I
told you the story about Latanya from Fulton Street a million times, right?
absolutely,
Remember Mr. Williams?
absolutely.
Remember Mr. Williams snatched off ain't no stopping us now. Everybody ain't no stop. And he snatch it off and throw on after the love is gone so me and Latanya can dance. Remember that? I
That
told that
how
story
could
a million times.
how could you ever say something as blasphemous as Cool in the Gang
It's the
is
greatest
greater
band. Yep.
than Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Mm, maybe statistics. See, you ain't even mentioned Get Down on It.
I mean, Too Hot, Get Down on It. I mean, late
Joanna,
sev- Joanna, late 70s into mid 80s,
too hot, too hot,
Cool in the
too
Gang
hot.
had a run that was just, you know what I mean?
Joanna,
Like, yeah, Joanne, all of them classics, Celebrate, all them classic records,
get down on it.
in, In the groove. That's what you call In the Groove right there. Because that whole guitar section, whatever. But Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Come on, bro. Come
And
on, bro.
don't let me get started with the Isley Brothers, because Footsteps in the Dark.
Yeah, I keep hearing them.
Okay,
I keep
Footsteps
hearing footsteps.
in the dark. When you listen to music like that, that right there should let your woman know, to tread lightly. When she come home and you playing Isley Brothers Footsteps in the Dark, that means tread lightly. I mean, I ain't
Understand?
feeling good today.
Right, right. No. I feel you. I feel you. Hey, Paris Duggar is in the building. What's good? He said he driving, driving through Jersey City right now.
Shout
Bam.
out Jersey City.
Shout out to Exit 14B.
Absolutely.
Bam.
Brick City. Absolutely. Spent many a great day in New Jersey. I ain't drinking the water though, but
Nah,
many a
I
great
ain't.
day.
Yeah, we ain't drinking that yet.
Many a great day
Jersey
in New
water.
Jersey.
Jersey water. I know a New Yorker ain't. I know a New Yorker ain't say nothing about the water.
Jersey water turn your skin pale green.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know which water I would trust, Jersey Shore or Coney Island. But
I'm not
yeah,
I'm not trusting either one. I'm not trusting
yeah,
either one. Either one,
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm just saying, bro. Yeah, you know. But yeah, Cool in the Gang. I take Cool in the Gang is Cool in the Gang is by far. It's not even a competition.
You. I mean, just you're just out there, and you like what you like. That's what I respect about you more than anything else. Since I've been knowing you over these, which seems like forever now. That you like what you like,
Hey
and
man,
you stand on your square, and you can't be swayed, even when you're wrong.
come on, bro.
You can't be swayed, and a man has to have principles. A woman has to have principles, and
Yeah, yeah,
things that you're saying, well, no, this is just how this is,
yeah.
so I definitely respect that about you. You're consistently wrong, you
What?
know, but I respect that about you. And that leads us
How?
into that should be a nice segue leading us into the second half of our, shall I say, daily departed, because I did pronounce them dead like 3 weeks ago, right? We had a whole taps moment and all that good stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, Uncle Freeze, going into the second half, and I know the Animal House is going to get on this tomorrow, but this show right here, we set the week off, we set the tone.
Right.
Give me your feelings going into the second half of the season.
Um. Let me do this. Let me say this. I kind of knew the season was over weeks ago, right?
I thought you was about to say you knew it was over when they called Taj Gibson back in the office and gave him $2.5 million more.
Well,
but, but
yeah,
that was in August. But that was in
yeah,
August.
yeah.
So yo, Taj,
So
you forgot something. Come back, come back.
when I know when they gave when the offer was on the table for Taj Gibson and Dwight Howard to make the same amount of money, I knew something was desperately wrong with this plan, right? How do you offer Taj Gibson comparable money to Dwight Howard? How do you not know that Jericho Sims is not ready and won't be ready? Okay, so here's my thing, right? Here's my thing. People think I bash the young core, right? I don't, right? But AD, you been there, you with me. You seen the fake young cores before, right?
Yes,
You've been there, like you remember Chris Childs? He was part of
yes,
a young core, and he wasn't even young.
and he wasn't even young. But that was younger free agents, and I'm glad you touched on Charles, and we'll get to Charles.
It,
I had a whole thing I want to talk about with Chris Charles, but we'll get there. We'll get there in a
right,
bit.
right. Yeah, I want to keep things in order. I want to keep things in order, right? But I'm talking about perspective,
Right.
right?
It was him, Houston. Remember, the three of them, they had a press conference that day with the three of them, Larry Johnson, Allen Houston, Chris Charles.
I said I didn't want to. I was hoping that we could get to that because we have to do a short show, everybody, because the Knicks play, and I got to do some production stuff because Subliminal 209 is doing a hangout for the show, so I got to make sure things are right before we jump off of that. So we got to do a short show here, but not saying that we're gonna short you on content, right?
Never that.
I'm just
Never
saying
that.
we just want to make sure that we do things in a certain order, right? Here's the thing. Do you remember the Greg Anthony Hubert Davis young core, the future?
Yes. Yes.
You remember that? How'd that turn out?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't lead us
To nothing.
into the future, but let's be fair. They had their moments. They fit the mold from what those teams were trying to get done, which was hard nosed toughness. Hubert Davis saved Patrick Ewing in '94.
Okay.
Let's never forget. Let's never forget that. You know, game 5 in the Garden, he misses 2 big free throws. Hubert Davis gets fouled by Scottie Pippen. So for those of you gets
Fouled.
gets fouled in yesteryear and especially in today. In
Mm,
today's game, they would have called that. They would have called that foul. That would have been for 3.
yeah.
That would have been for 3. So he steps up to the line and he hits those 2 big free throws that saves Ewing. You know, and we forget about that. You know, I haven't thought about that in a very very long time. Those big threes, and for Greg, you know, Greg is from, you know, UNLV, the Running Rebels toughness, leader of, in my opinion, the best college basketball team that I ever seen play.
Easy, easy. Calm down.
In my opinion, in my
No,
opinion,
no, they not. I just have to
in
jog
my
your,
opinion.
I have to jog your
Well,
memory some.
I know, but and I'm not. Remember, I'm 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 too young to see the great UCLA teams.
Right.
The Georgetown team of '85, great team. They were great teams in what's my Duke teams, that they had some good teams, but that 1990 UNLV with Anderson Hunt, Greg Anthony, Stacey Augmon, Larry Johnson, Shackelford. That was the best team that I had ever seen play because they could give it to
Moses
you.
Scurry, George Ackles.
Moses Court, George Ackles, they could give
Yeah,
it to you, and they had a special brand of defense that the NBA, like some defensive coordinators took up when they called it the amoeba defense, the amoeba D,
yeah, yeah.
and Anthony was the head of the snake, and they would have won, they would have beat Duke back to back if it wasn't for the refs calling that bogus last foul on him. And again, when you don't have a point guard to ready the ship, to right the ship, what can happen? And if nothing else, Greg coined the phrase, we had a motto in the 90s. We were either going to win the game or we were going to win the fight.
Yeah,
You know, shout out to Pretty Shirt Greg in Phoenix. Remember
yeah, yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was gonna. The reason why I'm saying, the reason why I was saying, just be careful because there were a lot of teams. There were a lot of great college teams, man. That Flying Illini team with Steve Bardo, Marcus Liberty, Nick Anderson, Kendall Gill. That team, man, was like 5, 6 deep with NBA players, man.
They didn't win. They didn't win nothing. We
They
talking
didn't.
about
They,
we talking about
you talking about,
college.
yeah, you talking about college champions. If you talking
We
about college
talking about,
champs,
yep. They
if
didn't
you
win nothing.
if you talk okay, if you talking about if you're talking about college champs, man,
Yep.
I can understand. I can
That
understand.
UNLV team, Larry Johnson. Because remember, the year before, Derek Coleman goes number 1, and I remember Dick Vitale coming on and says, if Larry Johnson was in that draft, there is no way Derek Coleman was going number 1, and I almost punched the TV screen because I thought DC was head and shoulders for 2 years, maybe 3, the best college basketball player that I had seen. But Larry Johnson was still in junior college at the time. Then when I
Yeah,
saw Larry Johnson, when I saw him that first season, and for those who don't remember him pre-grandmama, Larry Johnson at 6'6", 255 with the gold tooth and the part in the front of the hair was just absolutely out of this world dominant.
yeah,
Look at his rookie numbers coming into the league. Look at him pre-hurting his back. Absolutely
yeah,
dominant.
yeah. Hey, and you know what? Him hurting his back too. I heard a rumor that if he had injured his back today, he'd have got a simple procedure and he would have dominated the rest of his career. That's what I heard. I heard he had a nerve impingement like thing that back in the day was too dangerous to operate on because if you hit the nerve, you may have damaged it.
The the back is there's no exact science for the back, and I'm not a doctor, and I don't play one on this podcast.
Right.
But for everyone who's ever had back spasms, at the very least, like myself,
Right.
the when your back hurts, I mean, you're crippled. Everything. Your back can leave you on the bed or the couch for days.
Yeah.
For days, your back can give you, numbing feelings in your toes.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So I would maybe, I don't know, but remember, he had just signed that, which at that time, an $84 million deal with Charlotte.
7 years.
Yeah,
84 million.
in, in like year 3 or year 2. So you think Charlotte didn't try to, send him to every back specialist that there was?
Yeah.
They would have been a fool not to. So, Larry Johnson.
Yeah. And man, the reason why I say that, man, is because if we got a healthy Larry Johnson, because even then LJ did everything he could. Remember, he took off all that weight. Remember, he was like remember how muscular he was pre-injury, right? And even though he was rocked up with the Knicks, he was not, Vegas Larry Johnson size with the Knicks.
Right.
I think he probably shed like 15 pounds. I think he got down to like 245 or something like that. Anyway.
And that's a lot. But not to stray from it again, Freezy, what do you want to see second half of this season? I know it was easy to get away from it. I know, and I feel bad. I had to bring you back to the nightmare. It's like when you wake up from a dream and you try to get back into the dream, try to go back to sleep and get back into the dream.
Yeah,
I did that to you. I did that to you. My bad. Bad.
But you know how you get up and use the bathroom. You're like, God dog it. And Tony Braxton had just looked my way.
Just look my way.
And I got the fee.
Singing, he wasn't man enough for me. Hold on, Tony. Yeah. I'm about to show you.
Yeah. Tony Braxton had just looked my way and started singing "I Love Me Some Him." God dog it. If for those that don't know, y'all don't remember Tony Braxton that joined "I Love Me Some Him." Oh boy.
Allegedly, Tony Braxton fractured that young Dallas team.
Yeah.
Remember that with Jamal Mashburn kid and my man and Jimmy Jackson? Yeah. That was some kind of love triangle going on. Yeah. And Tony Braxton with that with that bass line.
Yes, supposedly. And the thing, I think the thing was she never even met Jamal Mashburn or something crazy. But anyway,
dude, they got rid of Jim Jackson in like a heartbeat. They were like, "Yo, you the last of this band. You the last of this trifecta right here. You might have been the first one we drafted, but you the last in this trifecta. You're out of here, okay? Right. And take Tony with you, okay? Shout out Tony. Girl, stop playing. Stop playing.
But let me say this before Mocha come and split my head with a frying pan, right? What I want for the to see for the rest of the season. It's simple. I want to see a star be born. Right? I don't care about Julius getting on track because I know Julius Randle is a great NBA player. Despite this season he had is a bad season. I don't care about Tom Thibodeau correcting mistakes he made in the first half. I know Tom Thibodeau is a great NBA coach. Right? I don't care about none of that stuff. Right? What I care about is the uncurable stuff. Right? What I care about is the uncurable stuff. Right? Like we will never get a free agent to come, a great NBA player, a great free agent to come here because we do lesser players dirty, right? So why would LeBron want to come here and get treated like Julius Randle? He ain't coming. LeBron ain't coming. Giannis ain't coming here so we could treat him like we treat Julius Randle. Are you crazy?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But what can happen though is one of these young guys on the bench can emerge as a star, right, and give us hope going into the season that if we develop him right and coach him right, Thibodeau coaches him right, then we can have something. But just doing the status quo, like overrating our young talent, like, oh my God, Grimes is gonna be the next Allen Houston. Come on, bro. I get tired of that, man. I'm frustrated with it. Right? It's like saying the Delphonics are one of the greatest bands ever. Get out of here. When they ain't even better than the Spinners. How about be better than the Spinners? And then I could, understand.
First of all, I'm not gonna let you go on any further. Okay, you act as if the Spinners is not Hall of Fame worthy. And I don't even believe in music Hall of Fame nonsense.
They are.
The Spinners, the
They
absolute. So it's no shame if if you want to say the Spinners are better than the Delphonics. What I'm gonna say to you? Okay.
It's a shame. It's a shame.
That's dude, the Spinners. Rubber Band Man, all of that. The Spinners got
Sweet Sadie.
The Spinners, I was watching their documentary one day, and the lead singer, and I'm forgetting his name, forgetting the brother's name, so forgive me for that.
Which one you talking about? Which one you talking about?
Not Jose. No, not him. Not Jose. I'm talking about the original Spinners. The original lead singer.
Yeah, I know he's like, yeah.
He said you will never find a Spinners record that doesn't have the word love in it.
Right.
You hear? Love. And the love is the word love is the verb that's going to where? The woman. Right? Because that's all the Spinners were about. So for all you young cats out there, and even old cats out there, let's always remember that we love music, we love the times and things like that. But if you don't have love for your woman, love, genuine love for her, and I mentioned earlier, footsteps in the dark and stuff like that. But more times than not, it's not going to be about footsteps in the dark. It's going to be about, yo, my darling, darling baby. You know what I'm saying? OJs. It's going to be about them. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be about those times. So I just want to throw that out there. Spinners, for real.
I thought you was going to say, I want to be free.
Ooh, stop it.
The Ohio players.
Stop that. Ohio players. Stop that.
Heaven must be like this. If you don't
Ohio players got sweet sticky thing, that is just stop it. Stop it. Sweet sticky thing. What?
Yes.
What?
Yeah, man.
And this is not even my record. These are my parents' records.
Yep.
These are their songs that I thought that sucked at the time. And I have a special guest that's probably listening right now, and she used to hate when I played some of those old school. You're so old, Anthony. Da, da, da. You know who you are. I'm not even gonna say your name, but you're so old, Anthony. Why are you playing this music? Because my dad and them. My dad used to write his name. My dad used to write his name on the record. And he didn't even write his government name. He wrote his nickname. His nickname was Wire because he was so thin.
You're right.
So on all his records, you'd be like WIRE, Wire.
Right.
I'm saying, and all of them classic joints and so forth. So shout out to all of them old great, artists and so forth, Stevie Wonder and all of those. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to too straight from the topic, but we always got to make, the mentions and, from where we come from, how we got here. Because somebody was whispering sweet nothings in someone's ear and produced Uncle Freezy and produced, AD,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
That's
And
what it
so
was.
just real quick on that note about the Knicks, right? On that note about the Knicks, a guy is gonna tell me that Stevie Wonder is the greatest artist of all time. We should be ashamed of ourselves to limit it to Michael Jackson and Prince.
That's fine. I'm good with that.
What?
I'm good with that. Yeah, I'm
What?
good with that. I'm good with that. That's
What?
not even. That's not even an Freezy. That's one of those arguments where if someone, your man who said that, or the woman who said that, you just shake your head and be like, all right, cool. I'm fine with that.
What?
Because when you open his catalog, Freezy, his catalog spans some 60 plus years.
I know this.
In the 70s, into like the 70s into the mid 80s. I mean, the man made a record that's one of the most simple records I've ever heard. That's a classic. I just call it "Say I Love You." No New Year's Day, right?
Correct.
And he just kept rhyming everything in the month. The month of May,
Nah, man.
and he
Come
went
on,
to
bro.
every month. He
I
went
know.
to every month, and on top of that, because at one point in time, him and Bob Marley was cool.
Yep.
So he goes down to Jamaica and he makes "I'm Jamming."
Jamming. I remember that.
You'd have thought Stevie was Jamaican,
Yep.
right?
He
Stevie
also
got the
did.
accent. Stevie got the accent. Stevie got everything,
He also
right?
did Master Blaster. I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really want to talk about this young Cole man, but you can't really do that and then not mention James Brown, bro. James Brown had a song where he just begged for the whole record.
Yes.
He said, please, for what I swear is 13 minutes. Please,
Yes.
please,
Some
please.
457 times in one record.
And the chicks in the background would occasionally just jump in and say, please, please don't go so he can catch his breath. You know what I'm saying? Jane had to catch his breath, then jump in, please, please don't go. Then he jump back in, please, please, please. I mean, come
But if
on.
somebody said that James Brown is the greatest of all time, okay,
All right.
I'm good with you. I'm good with you.
Okay.
Because that right there is the Kilimanjaro of artists. And someone then come back and say, "Well, Marvin Gaye made the greatest album of all times." Okay,
The Trouble Man soundtrack.
the Trouble Man soundtrack. You know what's going on. If they said that, okay,
All
I'm
right.
not gonna. I just can't because I don't want to say it would show your lack of appreciation, but it would show your lack of knowledge for some of the greatest creators of musical content the world has ever seen.
AD, so for one, I'm going through something, right?
Mm,
I'm going through something personally, bro. So
okay.
I'm eating cucumber slices this morning. I'm sure y'all breakfast was delicious. You know what I'm
I
saying?
didn't even had none.
I'm sure everybody watching, I'm sure y'all's breakfast was delicious.
But from
I'm
last year,
enjoying it.
you were telling me that you were on this weight kicking and so forth, and you were like really on it because you wanted to step back into the ring because you were having your George Foreman flashbacks. And you wanted to recapture the Green Street Store Heavyweight Championship
And
from
it has never been the
yesteryear.
same. They have never had the same 1 year, bro. 1 year, like a 3 year stretch, they didn't even do it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And my man that got so old now, when he see me, hey, champ. And I'm like, hey man, how you say when you see the old timers, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
You be trying to talk to them like ain't nothing changed. Hey
right,
man,
right.
watch out there now. Let me don't make me, my man like 90 years old, still hanging on. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, this young core thing, bro. This
Mm-hmm.
young core thing frustrates me because I think we overrate our young core because we don't have nothing else to hold on to, right? If we had anything else to hold on to, I don't even think the young core would even be a story, right?
Facts.
You know
Facts.
what I'm saying? The thing that the
But
fact that
but we don't.
but we don't. Okay, I'll leave it there then. But we don't.
You see? But we don't. Now, for myself, for the rest of the season, you know, I don't care about Julius Randle because he had a good season. Good and great are in two different zip codes.
Right.
I don't care about Tom Thibodeau because he ain't never won nothing. The furthest he's ever been was one Eastern Conference Finals. I
Right.
think. I think he went to one Eastern Conference Finals. I think. Right? He ain't never won anything. So should they ask him to pack his bags at the end of this season? I'm good with it.
I'm not.
You know, I'm very good with it, right?
I'm
Because
very not good with it.
hey, because you know why? We haven't done anything. He's not someone. He's not someone that I could say I trust him to develop your young core. Because how we're going, the slide that we're going on right now, and we're probably going to lose today, right? If we keep going this pace and play, we're going to be in the lottery. That means we're going to have another top 10 pick. Right? So if we're having another top 10 pick, do you trust him and his band of dwarfs, his band of Jim key holders to lead these young men going further? I don't. I don't. I don't want to. I'm not gonna mention the O word on here. But has he done a good job with the O? Mm. Has he done a good job with Quickly? Mm. Has he done a good job with McBride? Besides handing him his bus ticket to Westchester? Mm. Has he done a good job with
Yeah.
Sims? Has he done a good job with Sims? You know, hey Sims, you sit and get some curl activator in that afro that you got working on there, and let this guy that we gave an extra two
He's
point
done.
five million dollars to play.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So if he's out the door, what was that? What was that play? That Broadway play, Black in it. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Don't cry for me, Argentina. Out.
If I see that commercial one more time, bro. If I see that
that
commercial one more time, you know how you be
used
watching.
to,
You didn't.
that used to drive me crazy. That used to
You
drive me sick.
you remember you be watching Good Times and James Evans get fired from the job and then go to commercial break and then don't cry for me, Archie. You God dog it. James just got
That
fired from the not fired but laid off. James got laid off from the job. They go to commercial break and then they playing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina."
absolutely,
That's old school
uh,
TV to your heart right there.
absolutely, absolutely.
And I don't know
So
why James got laid off every week. I don't know what James must have been a bad worker or something.
it was just the times. It
It's
was the
hard times.
'70s. It was
It was
hard
hard times.
times.
It was hard times.
And James would be upset like nobody's business because he start walking fast and you hear those corduroys. James got a James got on the corduroys and the God the 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 platinum, what is that? The shirts that he used to wear.
Yeah, I know what you said.
Look like
Yeah, you did.
look like a construction worker. And
Yeah,
all James was a handyman that worked every job that he could work to take care of his family. At the very end of the day,
yeah,
and I still watch those episodes because it was something about the strong black father that I remember seeing the documentary and that Esther Roll had to really fight for.
yeah, yeah.
Like, nah, you're not gonna leave me. You're not gonna leave me out here like Claudine. You know what I mean?
Right.
No, you gonna give me a daddy for these kids on the show,
Yeah.
and that's how this is gonna work. Or
Oh,
I'm a bounce.
yeah. And
They
they needed her. They wanted her bad.
they
They
wrote
want
the show around her.
yeah, they wanted her bad.
Yeah, it just so happened that you know, as in anything else, to make and we loved this back in the day. First of all, Bernadette Peters was the black young under 20 at that time. So they had the eye candy, and then they had the buffoon in
Yeah,
JJ,
yeah.
and they played off that, you know,
Did
and
you know he
he
at the time he was their agent?
yeah, and he was also at that time like
He
35 years old.
he was influential, bro. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, yeah.
He,
Jimmy
oh,
Walker. Jimmy Walker was a big deal in the 70s.
bro, I have a Jimmy Walker story. I
Let's
don't
hear
want
it.
to I don't want to take up all the time, right? But so I was working this dead end job, right? Thinking about my Knicks. I love the Knicks. I was working this dead end job, man. Wasn't making no money. My bills was piling up sky high. Then I came into some bread, right?
Okay.
I came into some bread. So I called Mo at her desk. Bring Mo. She give it, you know how at work you got to do the spill. Thank you for calling such and such. This is such and such speaking. Thank you, Mo. She right on time. Mo perfect, bro. But
That's
but
right.
um but so she like going through the spill. This is such and such speaking. Blah 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 blah. I'm like, Mo, hurry up. We ain't got time for this. I'm gonna come pick you up, and I'm gonna go take you to go see Jimmy Walker.
Right.
And she like,
Wow.
what? And this is her going from like super pro to super
Mhm.
hood, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Your ass called me at work for that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we get there. So we get there, and it's out of town. I pick her up. You know what I'm saying? We trying to drop off the kids somewhere. I got these tickets up front. I'm cooling. It's Uncle Freezy and his girl. We done went out of town. We done ate dinner.
Mm.
We sitting up front for the Jimmy Walker show. All the comedians come out. Every comedian come out, and I have on what I thought was the flyest dress shirt money can buy.
Okay.
Right. So I'm acting like I'm unflappable up front. Everybody laughing.
Mm.
I'm like, ha 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 ha. I'm too cool to laugh because my shirt fly. Right.
Plus you the Green Street champ,
And plus I'm the great.
So
Yeah. And plus the shirt I had on was a neon green
you
type shirt. And at the
got a
time,
you got a neon green shirt, and
it's a
you
dress
like
shirt though.
oh my God, stop it.
But it, but
Stop
it's
it.
but it's Pierre Cardin. It's a Pierre
Okay.
Cardin dress shirt, right? So for those that don't know what Pierre Cardin is, anyway,
What's that? So what you got on? Pierre Cardin? Nope. I knew that was no Pierre Cardin.
yeah. So I'm fly. I got on my loafers. I got on matching loafers. You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying? And so I'm fly. I'm super fly. Got on
Mm.
got on my tan dress slacks with the white stripes. So it's
Mm.
tan with white stripes, man. Lime green shirt, shoes to match.
Coordinate.
Yeah, I'm
Coordinate.
fly, right? I'm fly.
Mm. Mm.
Jimmy Walker come out, takes a sip of water, and spits it across the stage.
Lord.
This is what he do. No lie. This is what he do. AD, this is what he do. He do, yo, Columbia, South Carolina. He look at me and like, I know good and goddamn well y'all ain't let this big joker come sit up front dressed up like a popsicle. Yo, so the popsicle J he brought, man, oh my God, bro.
Mm.
It was relentless, bro.
Mm.
Relentless.
I'm
And so
sure.
I'm like, yo, why don't you shut up and tell some jokes, funny man? And so
Mm-hmm.
and so he tried to get into his thing, but he got a thing about Uncle Freezy wearing tan pants and a lime green shirt, sitting up front trying to be cool. So
Looking
he
like
goes,
looking like Mr. Furley.
yeah. And then when we leaving, you know how so we leaving, and the place that we was at, they have a stand where you can go on the way out, you can buy merch from the comedians and all that stuff. So I'm walking like, and it's this big old line and people, whatever. He's like, oh no, don't try to sneak out of here. So he calling me up, come here. No, come here. And I'm like, Mo, if this dude tell one more joke, I'm gonna choke out JJ in him. So yeah, so I come over and he give me an armful of Good Times stuff and autograph all of it. Like
Okay.
in the room back there, I got like a Good Times poster that he autographed, like a T-shirt, like the DVD. He like, man, thanks for being a good sport, man, but that outfit is ugly.
Hmm.
And I'm
That's
like,
good. That's
man,
it.
what?
It could have went left. It
I'm
could have
like,
went all. It could have went all the way left.
yeah, I could have been doing 7 to 24 for choking out JJ Evans. And old school
shout,
Knicks, y'all make me sick because all I wanted to do was bash y'all young core, and y'all got me in here talking about
shout
JJ
out,
Evans.
shout out to the cast of Good Times. Ralph Carter. Like I said, Bernadette Peters, John Amos. Esther Roll has since, she's since gone on to glory. Many years ago and so forth.
Who
But
did? Oh, that's the role. Yeah.
yeah, Esther Roll's been gone for some time. But Bernadette Peters, I saw her the other day. She's like 69 years old, and she
Yeah.
still look like Bernadette Peters. She's still
Yes.
fine.
Yes.
Still fine. Absolutely. That saying that good black don't crack was absolutely well attributed to her and her staying power all these years later. So shout out to that cast because we grew up with that. You can never forget those classic sitcoms and so forth. But yes,
Mhm.
we did kind of segue from the Knicks because it's easy.
It's
It's
easy.
easy.
Can I
It's
bash your young
easy.
core now though?
Absolutely.
Yo, this young core ain't it, bro. This total roster. This roster ain't it. This roster is not it, bro. I mean, I think you got. I, I think you got 2 or 3 good players, and everybody else either has something to prove or they not ready.
Okay. All right, Freezy. Hear me out on this, and this is where I'm about to start preaching. So, let me get my preacher shit on here. Hold on a second here. You know, can't be a good, can't be the right Reverend Anthony D, without
Right,
without proper decor here.
right.
Last night, or was it last night or night before last? I was on with Legion and Knicks. Shout out Gmo and the band of characters there,
Right.
and they put me on because I told them, or you've heard me say this before, and I've told them on other shows that I haven't watched or scouted young talent in like 3 years,
Right.
purposely because I want to keep my mind focused on thinking that we're going to do something, we're going to go forward, and we're not going to keep looking at, the next coming class. So
Right.
they put me on a dude named Jaden Ivey, right? So
Right.
I'm watching this young cat. I'm watching Jaden Ivey, and he is all of everything that they told me about him. Left hand, right hand, kind of like John Morant, but bigger, super explosive.
Right.
Shoot the three, mid range. He has everything. Okay. And I'm watching him and I'm like, okay, here's a part of the problem with this management that it hurts because of their lack of flexibility, their lack of knowing how to turn and pivot.
Right.
Okay. If you see the season is going where it's going, and you didn't anticipate that you were going to be in the Halliburton, and you didn't, I'm not going to go there, and it's now you're like you're not going to make the playoffs,
Right.
or it's going to be very hard for you to make the playoffs, or a little in the playing game. Why wouldn't you turn to say, well, you know what, throw our hands up, let's do all we can do to solidify a certain position and getting better young talent? Because if this young talent isn't it, according to you, Uncle Freezy,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
In the words of T.K. Kirkland, there's a graduating class every year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
There's a
all it
grad
needs.
there's a graduating class every year. So why not align yourself in there to get yourself a star like that? Because contrary to popular belief, look at me. Julius Randle, Juliet Randle aka Julie, is not great.
You bugging, bro.
Okay?
No, what?
Great, great is in Arizona. Julie is in Guam.
Mm, I was with you until that point.
Yeah,
I was.
because
I
you
just had
thought
to
I was
pull
gonna
my
let you
parents away.
slide. You thought I was gonna let you slide with that, because we know he's great.
Yeah.
I didn't forget that.
Right.
He's in Guam. And great's in Arizona.
Um. I
Floor is
would.
yours.
I would say this. I agree with 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 the stuff that you said, and shout out to those guys too, because you are very late to the Jaden Ivy show, right?
Extremely.
But better late than never, right?
Yes.
So here's the thing: would I rather have Jaden Ivy or a handful of Quentin Grimes, Miles McBrides, and Jericho Sims? I would rather have Jaden Ivy, right? Right. Now, with that said, if we have Jaden Ivy and Grimes and McBride and Sims, I would prefer the fistful of dollars. I would like them all, right? But let's not get this twisted, right? Quentin Grimes and Miles McBride will never, ever, ever be Jaden Ivy, okay? Ever. Jaden Ivy may wind up being better than Donovan Mitchell, right? Let's just put that out there right now, okay? So here's the thing, though, Knicks fans, and I'm not saying all of y'all, but it's a lot of y'all speaking for everybody. They think Grimes is a Klay Thompson light. They think Miles McBride can be the point guard of the future when he can't even be the point guard of the present,
It,
right? So what I'm saying is what I'm saying is this: easy on how you rate your young core. If you love your young core, say you love your young core. Don't just be reckless and say this young core is great, because they're not, right?
you
Because
but you were reckless in saying Juliet was great. You're
nah,
so you're flagrant with your mouth as well. Because
nah.
you called Tom Thibodeau great.
Does
This is
his
being
res-
recorded. This is being recorded. Just to
does his
just to
resume
remind
not
you.
say does his resume not say he's great?
No,
Okay, all right,
no,
we'll disagree on it.
no. He don't got no championships. He don't got no. He doesn't have an appearance in the
Ron Lue has a
finals.
championship. Is he great?
As compared to Tom Thibodeau, a leader of men,
Right.
Tom Thibodeau is the reason why he has to keep trading and finding a way to get Derrick Rose back. You know why? He feels guilty because he almost ruined the young man's explosive career some 10 years ago, keeping him in a meaningless game where he wrecks his knee. Let's never forget that. Let's
Nah,
never forget that. He
oh
did the
man,
same thing to RJ the other game, having him in a meaningless game where we knew what the outcome was going to be, and what RJ sprains his ankle, has to sit down for 2 weeks.
and injuries happen, bro.
Yeah, yeah, injuries do happen, and coaches push players to injury sometimes, and he's one of those guys.
That's people blame Rick Pitino for Pat Ewing's knees. Man, you made Pat Ewing run up and down the floor like that. Man, that's
Well,
not what ruined Pat Ewing's knees,
well, Pat hurt his knee before Rick Pitino got here, so that's
man.
that's just false.
Pat got hurt in his rookie season.
Yes,
Pat probably shouldn't even been rookie of the year because he probably didn't even play enough games,
I
right?
think he played like what 40. I think we talk
Or
about
something,
40 games or something like that.
something like that. Yeah,
45, maybe.
yes,
I think he played a bit. I think he played a bit more than half.
yeah. So the whole thing with Pat Ewing getting hurt, you can't pin that on one player, especially
You
when
you, you can't call him great with a resume. Look, look, The man had one of your favorites, Carl Anthony Towns. How did that work out?
It didn't. But that's
Okay.
Minnesota.
Okay. And
That's
what did Minnesota
Minnesota.
and what did Minnesota do?
What did Minnesota do before Tibbs and after? The same thing. They trash. Why we gotta scratch Minnesota from the
Did
record, bro? We
hold
gotta act
on.
like they don't
Did
exist.
did Tibbs make them that much better? They had one playoff appearance. One.
Mm. When did they make the
One,
playoff?
one.
When did they make the playoffs before that? And don't say Spreewell. Because if you
Kevin
say
Garnett is Freewell. Kevin
yeah,
Garnett is
well, okay,
Freewell.
exactly. That's my
Okay.
point. That's my point.
Footnotes in history. Him being in Minnesota, they're not erecting a statue because he was there. Okay? They're not going to somehow create another lane in their underground city and call it the Tom Thibodeau way.
Yeah,
Not going to happen.
he would have won Coach of the Year in Minnesota too if Jimmy Butler didn't get hurt. Remember, they were
What
number
the
2 in the
hell does
conference.
Coach of the Year mean? What does it mean?
It means you did a good job, bro.
Oh, so how about they give out the trophy when the season is completely done, so you can take in everything like the playoffs.
Bro, you
How great
bugging.
was his coach?
You
How
just hate.
great was his coaching then? Huh? How great was his coaching then? From
Yeah.
a team that the Knicks was beating up last year, Atlanta. How great was his coaching then? How great was his coaching in comparison to what's my man, the coach
Hey,
down there?
he made chicken salad out of chicken crap last year.
Oh Jesus Christ! Oh, so that's what Julius Randle. So that's what Juliet Randle is really and truly. He was just refrigerated chicken salad, and now we've left him out on the counter way too long, right? So now he has reverted back to what he was: refrigerated chicken
Yeah,
salad.
you just hate coaches, bro. You a coach hater.
No,
That's what
I
you sound like.
hate I hate
Coaches,
how you
coaches,
I hate
coaches, coaches.
how you put on, you easily attribute greatness.
No, I don't.
Great is Patrick Ewing.
Great is
That's
Patrick Ewing.
great. Great is Bernard King. Great is Walt Clyde Frazier.
Did you say great
Great
is
is
Bernard King?
That's right. That's right. Great is the original number 30 that imposter wears with his buckwheat curls running up and down. Did he do that in your face? Did he do that? Was you happy when he did that?
Bro,
Huh?
bro.
How did we get here? You know how we got here? Because you throw these Molotov cocktails in the place, and you think I'm not swift enough to get it out the house before it blows up.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Julius Randle is a bit player. The average.
No, he's not a part. He's not.
Okay,
No,
he's a bit player.
no,
okay,
he's not a recurring role. He's not Larry. He not Larry from Three's Company. Come on,
he's
man.
not even Mr. He's not even Mr. Furley.
Get out of here. Come on, man.
He's not even Mr. Furley. Oh my God, Lord. You know what, Knicks fans? I apologize
Lord,
to my.
help us. Somebody help us.
I apologize to my esteemed co-host here, Uncle Freezy. But because I did say in the beginning, he likes what he likes.
Bro, but
you're the kind of guy that go to a restaurant and order the same meal every time, everywhere you go. Because you like what you like. It's steak and eggs and onion rings, and you're good with that.
So?
Exactly. You like what you like.
So what?
And when you go home and get heartburn from it, and Mocha's telling you,
I'm prepared because
it happened
before, and I have something to take for it. You're right. I got you.
Okay.
I got you. I got you. And old school Knicks fans, man. I'm not bashing the attempt to get a young core. Right? That's not what I'm doing. I'm not bashing an attempt to get a young core. I just think sometimes we overrate what we have. People are clamoring for Jericho Sims. But right now, Jericho Sims is not an NBA player. It's the reason why he was almost not drafted.
Uncle Freezy, I'm fine. I'm not overrating them, Uncle V. But here's the thing: I mentioned Jaden Ivey, right? You have not moved out the stumbling blocks that's gonna win you a game 1 out of every 5 games, which is Julius. So let's say Julius and RJ is good enough to win you a game 1 out of every 4 for the rest of the way. That does not increase your chances in getting a true star.
I understand that.
That's my point. So I'm not overrating. I'm not here, pom poms for Grimes. And yeah, even though I liked him and I spoke to you about him, early in the offseason, I said, well, he got something, right? That's not the point. The point is, how do we get true stars?
The draft.
Okay, so what's our chances in getting the creme de la creme and letting Brock Howell and all of these guys that Rose has spent all of James Dolan money on? How do we help procure our chances in getting these top level talent if we're going to play and ride and die hard with Juliet of the world and not even Juliet, Taj of the world, Burks of the world, right? These
Hobie's
guys
of
are,
the world. Yeah, I feel
yes. You shouldn't be. You got to play your young guys, and I'm not, Chad. Please, I'm not saying tanking, but I'm saying at this point in time, tanking.
Tank. Tank.
Because as your esteemed coach once said on the ESPN the other day about if they made the Jeff Van Gundy, if they made the play-in game, it would only cover up what we know is really there. It's like putting a carpet on a dirty floor. Under that carpet the floor is still dirty, but the carpet is nice and brand new. And
Yeah,
you might
you
have
fooling
vacuumed
yourself.
it.
You fooling yourself.
Fooling yourself. Why do we need to fool ourselves at this point in time?
Right.
So play the
I
young
agree.
kids.
Except
Let
OJ.
us let all of them. Let us
No.
lavish all over them. Let us be delirious on certain particular players. Because you know what? If they're continuing to go to where they're going, it doesn't matter. Nick fans, Uncle Freezy is having a moment for a second, so I'm going to continue to steer this ship the way it needs to be steered. Uncle Freezy's delusional. Oh, Uncle Freezy's back. My bad, Freeze. You back.
Yeah, man.
You back.
Nah, man. Nah, man. I say, man, look, I don't disagree with you with the play the kids, right? I don't even disagree with you that Thibodeau and Randall have flaws in their game, right? Where I disagree with you at is play all the kids. Some of these kids don't deserve NBA minutes. They ain't ready.
Which one shouldn't play over
Miles
Taj?
McBride. Miles McBride has not shown he was ready.
So he should sit on the bench while you play Alec Burks.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying.
You know what you said to me a couple of weeks ago about the G League and Obi? You wanted Obi to buy his own ticket and go on the bus and send himself to the G League,
Yes,
right?
and
Every time,
maybe he could be the sixth man down there.
okay, but every time Miles McBride has gone to the G League, say it. It's 30 plus 8, 9 assists. Is some crazy numbers when he goes down there. Because why? He destroyed the league. He's not a G League player.
Hey, see, look
He's
what
a
look
player.
at what SP put. Look what SP put. Look, check this out. Are they about to out harden the bid today? League already on notice. Zion. See what I mean?
Feel good
Hey,
about your young
you see what
guys.
I'm talking
What do you want
about?
to? So, hold on. Would you rather he said Burks is about to outdo Burks got a better beard than Harden and he's about to outdo Harden? It's our own guy he's feeling good about. What's wrong with that?
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. You just said Van Gundy said making the playoffs puts us in a situation where we're covering up deficiencies.
Yes.
Let's just say, hey, RJ, come out and have a decent game back to back, right? Just be consistent. Is that too much to ask?
No,
RJ, be consistent.
no.
Because when's the last time you seen RJ Barrett have two consistently good shooting games back to back?
He's been good over the last. I think was it. I heard a
Don't do
stat
it.
the other day.
Don't make me
Over the
pull the
last,
numbers up. Don't make me.
you're gonna have to do it. Pull him up. Over the last like 20 games from where he started, he's been much better. It's been much better.
I
You know,
love
but
RJ Barrett.
what, dude? You were champ. I heard RJ Barrett's name out of your mouth first,
I love RJ Barrett.
right? What's wrong with us feeling good? I'm championing RJ. Like, I can't go out there and say, RJ, you suck. No, he's a young guy still building, still rising. The man dropped 46 points the other night, and even I had some problems with his 46 points.
His free throws, yeah.
His free throws and him being so left-handed dominant, and I was something like, yo, going in the future, going forward, you're gonna need to do some things to help your game in certain areas, right? But still, someone pointed out to me, yo, AD, he scored 46 points.
Yeah. I mean, let's not go to the extreme. Let's not go overboard. RJ has been better. Right?
Yes.
RJ, so let's not go overboard in saying that he's trash. We're not saying
that. No.
We're not saying that.
No,
what
nowhere
we're saying
near
is,
that.
What we're saying is young players have a penchant to be inconsistent.
Yes, because they're young.
Because they're young and they hadn't seen certain things they just hadn't seen. You know, you can't say you've been there and done that if you hadn't been there and done that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel you. I feel you with that. What I'm getting at is let's not put RJ Barrett in a category with James Harden.
Okay, fine. That's all right. We're fans. We can be prone to being delusional at times.
Just like how you want to get rid of Tibbs. You delusional.
No.
Yes.
No. You know, I'm fine with it because I think there's better alternatives out there.
Name with a higher name 3 of them so that we can interview them.
Atkinson.
Oh, he ain't even working.
So? Okay, so whose fault is that?
His.
Why is Tom Thibodeau working? Because he has relationships. Yeah, no, because he has relationships. That's why he's working.
Because he's got a 57 percent
and they
percentage.
Okay, you know who has a better winning percentage? Dwayne Casey. Why is he sitting on the bench somewhere? Why is he sitting on as an assistant coach somewhere?
No,
not
Dwayne Casey's the head coach of Detroit.
My bad. Well, why am I thinking? But then again,
thinking about Lionel
why is he? Yes, but why is he coaching a Detroit team that's not spending any money to get better? Yeah. Okay. Why is he coaching that team? How about Stotts? How about Mark Jackson? I can call out a few names. You told me name 3. I named 4.
Okay. All right.
You want to look, Freezy? Look, he got this job, right? Because of relationships. He got this job because of a relationship with CAA, Rose, and Wild West, right? 2 weeks ago, William Wesley, because I'll never call you Worldwide whatever again. You're William Wesley, right?
Worldwide. Oh,
yeah.
Every time I hear that, I just want to.
Right? 2 weeks ago, it was reported that he was going to the owner and telling the owner the reason why we're not that good, snitching. Right? Dry snitching at that, right? Telling the owner it ain't our fault, it's his fault. We've gotten him to pieces, you know. He should be doing a better job. He should be doing so much of a good job that they had to finally shut down Kemba Walker. Right? Who they gave $9 million to. a 2-year contract too.
What are we doing?
What are we doing? Okay, and now I'm put in a position to defend him because he didn't want those guys. I know he didn't want those guys, but because he was so happy to have the job, right? I've never liked Mike D'Antoni's coaching philosophy, right? But I'll give him this. He did not want Carmelo Anthony. And when they refused to trade Carmelo Anthony, he quit. He stood on his square. He gave them an ultimatum.
One of us got to go.
One of us got to go.
Well, we ain't trade Melo. Well, I'm out of here.
Then I'm out of here.
Yep. And you got to give him credit for that.
You got to give him credit for it because he stood on his square.
Yep.
He was wrong, but he stood on his square. You're coming off of your so-called coach of the year, and you've been, he's a great coach, according to Freezy. You don't have enough credit to be like, yo, don't sign Kemba Walker. Don't sign a guy who's never played meaningful basketball until last year for half a season. What are you doing? I just had number one defense across the board. I just got the team to the playoffs for the first time in 7 years, right? I just got coach of the year. All of these positives, but yet still, when it came down to it, they did not listen to you for one iota. They told you to go kick rocks.
Kick rocks. But listen, let me go to your D'Antoni point, because I think you might have understated what happened with D'Antoni and Melo, right? So the Melo thing is me or Melo. One of us have to go. One of us have to be out of town by sundown, right? Okay. The organization, in my opinion, and I know this is not going to be popular, should have at least considered some type of compromise, right? Because at the time with Melo, young point guards can't be developed, right? And in 2022, Melo is gone and has been gone for 5+ years, and you still don't have a point guard, right? I'm one of those that believes that you can only have one sun in a solar system, right? Now I know scientists are gonna be like, well, you could have a bi-star something neighbor. Nah, bro. What I'm saying is what we used to, we see one sun, right? What we're accustomed to is a one star solar system, right? And if that guy is your small forward / power forward that's ball hungry and dominant, you're not going to develop point guards, right? And with the Melo always clamoring for the ball, your guards never got the opportunity to get into a flow and develop. And see, in Mike D'Antoni's system, Mike D'Antoni, in my opinion, can find a point guard from anywhere. Anywhere. Mike D'Antoni can pluck a young Asian dude off the bench that went to Harvard and got cut by 3 teams and turn him into something, right? I mean, come on, you got to. So when you look at a solar system that has a 4, because Melo was a 4 disguised as a 3. Because 3s in that era was slashes, jumpers, leapers, dunkers, right? And Melo was an ISO guy, ISO scorer that posted up, took advantage of smaller matchups and slower guys, right? And he was great at it. 26 points a game. But 26 points a game, right? But my point is if you don't allow a lead guard to be a lead guard, then you're not going to win anything. And Knicks fans, when they hear this take that's probably unpopular, they'll say, Uncle Freezy, you wrong. And then when I point out, well,
Because you are.
Randall's doing it right now, then they could be like, whoa, Randall's an idiot. But what I'm saying is it's not about the name, it's about the play style. If you let a 3/4, and I know Randall's not a 3/4, but Melo was a 4 disguised as a 3 at 240 something pounds. You know what I'm saying? ISOing, bullying small forwards.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Allow me to interject.
But listen, I'm not saying that's the way it was supposed to go. What I'm saying is one could entertain that conversation, that you could at least consider keeping D'Antoni and getting something in return for Melo.
Allow me to interject. Okay. And I'm gonna say 3 names to you. Andre Miller, Chauncey Billups, Jason Kidd. If you want to look up Melo's best seasons, those were the point guards that he had under those seasons. His MVP mention or his MVP vote that he got, Jason Kidd and Uncle Raymond Felton was his point guards. He averaged 29 points per season. His lone conference finals appearance, Chauncey Billups was his point guard. When he got to Denver, right? Mm-hmm. And, when George, even without George or with George Karl's nonsense, because all he did was try to sabotage Melo. That's my opinion, and I'll stand with it. Andre Miller was his point guard. Mm-hmm. Whenever he had...
Don't forget Jason Kidd.
I mentioned Jason Kidd. Whenever he had a real director for his show, he knew how to play his role. Okay? D'Antoni at that time, all of a sudden, mind you, and it was Melo, from what I understand, it was Melo that was telling them, yo, put the kid in. Put the Asian sensation in.
No, that's not how it's
right.
You're
okay,
Melo too much credit, man.
That's the story that I remember hearing. Okay, we don't have to. We can agree to disagree. Right now, the kid becomes an icon within 5 games.
Yeah,
a world icon. Never seen it before. The only thing close to that I saw was Fernando Valenzuela.
Yeah. Yeah.
Remember that? Remember Fernando?
Yeah.
10 games, world icon. It's the closest I've ever seen to that. Hurts his knee. Right? Not even that hurt. Decides that he can't even play in the playoffs because why? He was only 85%. And then when they sit down with the young man in the offseason to bring him back to try and Woody, because by this time, as we already documented, D'Antoni had quit. Woody's trying to merge these 2 forces. One is a force from 10 games, and one is a force because he's played 7-8 years and he's on the trajectory to go to the Hall of Fame. Right. So he has to sit between 2 guys. One has 13 games, 13 freaking games on his resume, right? But because he plays in New York, he becomes a star. So you have had a meeting of the mind from one who moved heaven and earth to get here. Okay, one who's here by chance. Okay, then what does that one does? Okay. He signs, he agrees to a contract, then backdoors the Knicks.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. Did you mention the part that the Knicks told him to go out and shop himself? Did you mention that part? Did you forgot? Because I must have blacked out when you said the part that the Knicks told him to test the market.
Did he not agree to a contract with the Knicks? Did he not verbally agree to the contract on a Friday afternoon? And by Monday, he was in Houston.
I think I missed the part where you said.
Yeah. That no, you missed all of that. You missed all of that.
Okay.
You missed all of that. For every time I hear Carmelo Anthony's name mentioned with the Knicks, and for those of you Knicks fans, again, let me remind you, he moved heaven and earth to get here. Okay? You had a guy here that had a bum knee that you gave 5 years to, that you got 3/4 of one season.
You said he moved heaven and earth to get here.
To get here.
Did he?
To get to New York.
Did the owner move heaven and earth to get him here?
They were in tandem.
Yeah.
They were working in unison.
We give Melo a lot of credit.
How many stars and Melo was a star at that time. How many stars before and since have tried to move to come here? How many times have we talked about this? We have to give that man credit that he wanted to come into the melting pot. He wanted to take the Knicks to the playoffs. Carmelo Anthony, I remember a game with him in Memphis where Tony Allen busted him in the face and he had 8 stitches across his eye. He comes back out in the second half and hits the game-winning shot and turns around to Memphis's bench and tells them, "I do this." You put some respect on that man's name. Okay?
I don't respect old school players. Have you not noticed? Have you not noticed? I don't respect old school players. Have you not noticed the theme? You bring up Bernard King, I'm like, yeah, he all right.
That's because, again, you like what you like.
You bring up old school players, I'll be like, yeah, he was all right.
You like what you like.
I'm like, he stole our money.
But you were so happy to talk about Jeremy Lin. Man who had 13 games.
I'm not happy to talk about Jeremy Lin. I know my thing is, see, my point is misconstrued. My thing is I'm so thirsty for a point guard that I'm willing to consider all the options at point guard. I don't have a favorite point guard of the past except Clyde Frazier, Michael Ray Richardson. If your name is not Clyde Frazier or Michael Ray Richardson, I don't care. I don't care about Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson is an Indiana Pacer. Cats keep telling me that Mark Jackson should be the coach of the Knicks. I don't want to. Go get Reggie Miller. If you want Indiana Pacers that bad to coach the Knicks, go get Reggie Miller. You know what I'm saying? They're the same person to me.
Okay, but let me ask you something. You've named 2 point guards, right? And I'm not even going to touch the Michael Richardson because it's only going to get ugly. We had Chris Childs and Charlie Ward on our team, right? I remember back then, Knicks fans used to go, boy, if we only had Gary Payton,
Kevin Johnson.
If we only had a Kevin Johnson, right?
If we only had Terrell Brandon.
Only had Terrell Brandon, who got drafted one slot ahead of us, which was how we got Greg Anthony.
Right. It's how we, yeah.
Chris Childs, the combination of Chris Childs and Charlie Ward took us to the finals.
Whoa!
Right?
Hold
on. Not only did we get to the finals in '99, but we then got to the Eastern Conference Finals in 2000.
Did you say took us to the finals?
Or they were the
have been on the bus with us on that team that got to the finals.
As I pointed out to you last week, Larry Johnson's 3-point play, right? The biggest shot in the Garden that we can remember. Who was it that settled him down so he can go on to hit the free throw? It was Chris Childs. Who was the leader of that second unit?
The young core, Chris Childs.
The young core. It was Chris Childs, right? Who stood up on that vaunted Christmas Day and gave dearly departed, not blasphemy, and gave the dearly departed Kobe Bryant 2 pieces and a biscuit.
Kobe licked himself up on that though.
That's fine.
Kobe wouldn't shut up.
That's fine.
Kobe licked himself up on that. You ever had a homeboy that do that?
Yes, and he
Yeah,
got with a mouth. He got with a mouthy person. Plus, he hit Childs with an elbow.
right, right, right. So Kobe Bryant talked himself up on that. Chris Childs, who was high strung, by the way. So the personality was so so I think you replaced Starks with Chris Childs. People don't remember how Chris Childs was a cold spring too. Like an emotional dude that could just be set off like in an instant. Because
Yeah,
Chris Childs was that dude too,
yeah.
who wasn't a first round pick coming
Nope,
into the league. By the time he got to us,
nope.
he was damn near 30.
I think he, if my memory serves me correctly,
Let me look it up.
he played out in the Pac-10. I think he was on. Was he on New Mexico? I think he was on New Mexico.
Boise State.
Boise State. Okay, but he had a game where he gave it to Gary Payton one of those days. And Chris Childs, I've heard him on several interviews. Chris Childs said, "I was not a point guard. I was not a point guard, but because of my height and my physical stature in the league at that time, you played point when you were that small." Chris
Right.
Childs on like 6'2". He
Yeah.
said, "I was really a shooting guard, but I could handle the ball
Right.
and I could lead a bit." But he really was a shoot first kind of guy. If you remember him, I still remember that day, that same fight. Before the fight, Ewing is having a great game, but Childs is having a better game.
Right.
Or it might have been another time in LA, and Ewing is walking off the court, and Ewing turns to him, and Ewing is throwing his arms up in the air, and he's saying, I'm trying to read his lips because Ewing is Jamaican, and I swear to you, Ewing gave him a few Jamaican bad words that Charles is probably like, yo, what is this dude talking about? Right?
Right.
But Ewing kind of punks him when Charles is also having a good game.
Right.
Because at that point in time in the NBA, your point guards, although you had a few around the league that was offensive minded, when you have Patrick Ewing on your team, you weren't going to be the first option
Right.
or the second option.
Yeah.
But he was good enough coming off that bench and that 99 team to get Sprewell the ball where he needed. I still remember him throwing Marcus Camby a alley-oop where Marcus Camby, human beings have no right or have no sense to contort your body like that. Marcus Camby goes from the middle of the lane. Childs throws it from like, it seemed like half court, and Camby catches from the middle of the lane, and he didn't flush it, but he caught it, and he was able to,
Right.
put it
Right.
in like
Right.
only someone with that kind of athleticism could do.
Right.
But that was a point guard maneuver, just like him, you know, calming Larry Johnson down at that time, a point guard maneuver. Chris Childs was not a great ball player, but he was just a good Knick in a time where you remember these guys, and he was notice I said good. I didn't use the word great.
Right. Right. Right.
I wasn't flagrant like you were. And in comparison, I could have.
Okay. I had a issue there. I had a tech issue.
That's fine. I'll continue to ride. Charlie Ward. His infamy moment, game 5, Miami. I know, Vic, if you're watching, I know. Marv, if you're watching, I know. Game 5, Charlie Ward is on the free throw line, and he decides he's blocking out, mind you. PJ Brown says Charlie Ward is going for his
Wait, you
his
didn't let
knee.
me ask my. I had to ask you a
I'm
question.
sorry. Let me stop. Let me recoil. We can stop for you, Freezy. This is your train, baby.
My cousin says the reason why Knicks fans, the reason why Knicks fans can't get a star is because we celebrate bad players.
There's a point to that, but
My cousin
who's he talking about? But who's he talking about?
Marcus Camby.
Okay, stop calling him your cousin.
No, was Marcus Camby. I'm gonna
stop
say
calling,
this.
Stop
I'm gonna
calling
say
him.
this,
Stop calling him your cousin.
And I gotta say that I'm gonna say this, and I think we're gonna have to after
you're about to upset my soul.
Yes.
Okay, I can because that's how you do.
Tell you, I'm gonna look Anthony D straight in the eyes and be like, Anthony D, Marcus Camby was a bust.
End the show. I'm good. You can end the show. Just end it.
I'm
good right here.
Wow. Marcus Camby is a bust.
Wow. Wow. Woo. Wow.
Knicks fans, Marcus Camby is a draft bust.
Wow.
Where was Marcus Camby selected in the draft?
Number 2.
Right? And his highest scoring season, which was his rookie season, when Toronto was thinking he was a bust because he only averaged 14 points a game. He averaged 14 and 6, and Toronto thought he was a bust. And they were looking to get rid of him right then. Do you know he never had another season of 14 points a game? Ever?
Do you know he was what, at least 3 or 4 all defensive teams? Do you know he was defensive player of the year? Do you know the 1999 the 1999 New York Knicks we do not get by the Davis brothers of Indiana without Marcus Camby? What in the French Foreign Legion are you and your cousin talking about?
Okay, wait a minute. Oh, here's one. That's what I hear when I hear people talking about Marcus Camby.
Wow. Just like this.
Marcus Camby had Anthony Davis-like skills before Anthony Davis. Marcus Camby was an agile big man that can jump out the gym and run faster than anybody. He was the number 2 pick in the draft, right? He was the number 2 pick in the draft. Who went number 1 in the Camby draft? I can't remember.
You're talking about him like he's Hassim Tabit. You're disrespectful. The Knicks do not go to the finals without Marcus Camby.
And Kurt Thomas.
Kurt Thomas is not a part of this equation.
Okay.
You want to throw in this Molotov cocktail in here and talk about Marcus Camby like that. That's just, look at Marcus Camby's career in Denver.
Okay, AD, let me ask you this. If you're the Toronto Raptors, right? Now think about what I'm about to ask you. If you're the Raptors and you could redo that draft, would you take Camby at 2, or would you take Stephon Marbury or Ray Allen, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, or Kobe Bryant, Peja Stojakovic, Steve Nash, Jermaine O'Neal? Would you take those dudes over Marcus Camby if you had it to do all over again? If you're Toronto?
Let me ask. I'm gonna answer.
I'm gonna
answer the question. First of all, you don't compare Peja Stojakovic. You want me to turn on his game 7 against the Lakers when he was shooting air balls in the 4th quarter? Okay? Don't talk to me as if I started watching basketball yesterday, my friend. All of those guys you just mentioned, outside of Kobe, who played in the finals? Outside of Kobe and Ray Allen, who played in the finals?
Outside of Kobe and Ray Allen, let me look back
Who
at it.
who played in the finals?
Okay.
All those guys you just mentioned.
Ray Allen?
Ray Allen and Kobe. Outside
Ray
of those
Allen.
two guys, who else played in the finals?
Wait, nobody. But you would say you would take Camby over Steve Nash.
No,
Don't do this. Don't do this, AB.
if I can do it all over again, right? Hindsight is 2020, Freezy. Those guys, every single one of them, maybe outside of Pager, are going to the Hall of Fame, including Camby at some point in time. They're going to the Hall of Fame. Marcus Camby was a specialist player. Marcus Camby was a specialist guy, even at UMass, right?
Camby was a great college player. Bro.
Yeah, but his body size, and I always do this to New Orleans Noel. Camby played with his junior high school body for a long time, for a very, very long time. Camby was not an offensive guy that you can say, well, hit this 15-footer baseline, hit this 15-footer, foul line. Camby wouldn't have been one of those guys that, as the years go on, that's going to be a stretch four. That's not his game. His game was superior athleticism. Like if you put Camby in this mix here with these Knicks players, you're not going to be able to keep him off the court because why? He's blocking every shot. He can defend the perimeter. He can, good God have mercy. The man
I would take Jermaine O'Neal over him.
God, the man threw it down on Mutombo when we needed him to and ended the series. If you want to take Jermaine O'Neal over, okay, fine. Okay, you can do that. It's fine. I'm not going to argue with you with that. But
the
you call him Marcus
was in that draft. I'll take Big Z over Camby.
Oh my God. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a pleasure.
Come on, man.
Come
on, man. Let's not act like Camby.
You're oh my God.
In terms for one,
bad,
let me clarify.
Bad feet. You're gonna take bad feet, Big Z over Marcus Camby.
Let me clarify. Let me clarify with this. This is about the conversation, right? So for those that are in the chat that are listening to us, make sure that you keep in context that we're mentioning certain things as a part of the conversation. Like you have to not just look at Camby versus Kobe. You have to look at where Toronto was drafting. They knew that they could not get Iverson. So Iverson was off the board. So everybody else in that draft class was available to them. It was like having a co-number one. Because Iverson, it was a dream fit. It was like the year Cleveland had the number one pick and LeBron was on the board. Everybody else was available. You knew LeBron was not going to be passed up, right? It was just too much of a fit. Iverson to Philly, LeBron to Cleveland is too much of a fit, right? But if you're picking number 2, right, and you have your pick of this extraordinary litter, are you telling me that you don't go Ray Allen number 2? Ray Allen was a scoring machine.
Now that's the argument. Now that's the argument there. I'm not gonna argue with you that right there. If you want to say take Ray Allen, okay, I'll ride with you with that. But you want to throw in Pages of the world, Sharif Abdul Rahim of the world was just what did he ever do with his career?
He was good. He was the classic 18 and 10 guy. 18 and 10. I hadn't even looked at his numbers, but I feel like he's 18 and 10.
His team, with his 18 and 10, his team never did anything because his numbers on a bad team is like what the Frenchman numbers were in Orlando. They're a bad team.
Right.
You can put up numbers on a bad team. If you want to say draft Stefan over him, no doubt. You could see in Steph's game, absolutely. But you just can't just throw up. First of all, well, second, third, fourth of all, basketball in Canada was not the hotbed place like it is today. Steve Nash coming out of really Canada to come play in the NBA, they wasn't looking for basketball talent like that. Shame on them, because
Correct.
you should be scouring. You should be
Because Steve
scouring the
Nash
world.
didn't look the part, and
And
Marcus
it's,
Camby looked every bit of the part.
well, not only that, you have to agree with me here. There's always been a big man bias, drafting a big guy over a little guy for as far back as I can remember. Hence why Portland drafted over Michael Jordan, Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan. So that
But they
that's
had
just
Jim
not
Paxson and
fair.
Jim Paxson and Drexler.
Yeah, but you drafted a guy that had 2+ years of injuries, who did not play, who was brittle. You
Sam Bowie?
already, yes,
Yeah,
you
Sam Bowie
already
was a 5-year player, remember? Sam Bowie was a
a
5-year.
when two and a half of those 5 years he was
Injuries.
injured.
Yep.
Injuries.
He was
And
injured when he
you
was walking to the podium on draft night.
and you went through that with Walton. So why would you do that? So my point is, that's just not Toronto drafting a big over a little. That's the history, but that's the history of the league.
They have a big man curse, because now that you mentioned it, they drafted Greg Oden over Durant.
Yes, they did.
Oh, they have a
yes,
big
they
man
did.
curse, bro. Oh my God. Oh yeah, they have a
Yes,
big
they
man
did.
curse.
But a lot of teams have done that. Teams have done that. Someone drafted Yao Ming, mind you. Yao Ming was put in the Hall of Fame. I wouldn't have put him in the Hall of Fame. Yao Ming has had most of his career had bad feet.
Yeah.
Bad feet. But because of him being an international ball player, and then being 6 billion people in China, they opened up the Chinese market, put him in the Hall of Fame.
Boom.
Put him in the Hall of Fame.
He was a good player too, though, bro.
He's not a better player than Mark Aguirre.
No, he ain't better than Mark Aguirre.
Let's understand something.
Nah,
he should not have been in the Hall of Fame before Bernard King.
Right.
Okay? I can run down a list of ball players. You want to put him in the Hall of Fame? Okay. But I can run down a list of guys that got to go in before him.
Okay. I agree. I'm not saying that you're
he's not a better player than Rick Smits.
Slow down.
He's not a better player than Rick Smits.
Ricky Smits was a.
He's not a better player than Ricky Smits. He's not.
Ricky Smits was a system player. Ricky Smits was Craig Biggio. He a system player.
Fine.
He batted in front of Jeff Bagwell. That's why.
That's fine. That's fine.
But let me say this though. The argument was not intended to be, is Marcus Camby better than player?
But you're blasphemous. You're blasphemous.
The argument was my cousin told me that Marcus Camby is a draft bust. And when he said that, I thought about it long and hard. Like, how dare you say some mess like that about Camby? Do you know who Camby is?
So now you want to disassociate yourself from what your cousin said?
No, listen. What I'm saying is, I'm open. I'm not open, but I'm open to hear the position on either side. That's what I've been trying to get to. Because how can you say he's not a draft bust and he didn't average 10 points a game for his career?
How could he? He's a specialist, like I said before, right?
Do you draft specialist number 2?
First of all, he's not Joe Smith. Joe Smith is a draft bust. Joe Smith is drafted number 1.
I like Joe Smith, though.
You see, again, you like what you like. That's not facts.
Yeah.
Okay?
I'm not claiming those to be facts, though.
Yeah, but Marcus Camby, his influence on the game. Marcus Camby, I think, played like maybe 4.5 years with the Knicks. He was number 4. He just got passed the other day in shot blocking.
Yeah.
4 years with the Knicks, and he's number 4 all time.
What does that say about the organization?
He gets better as he goes on to Denver.
Yeah.
It's facts. Like, you don't, in 99, you're not going to the final. You cannot beat the Davis boys without Marcus Camby. Marcus Camby thoroughly outplayed the Davis boys and Rick Smits in that conference finals. Period. Marcus Camby banged it all over Atlanta in the previous series. Marcus Camby in the first round series against Miami, they didn't know. Remember, Marcus Camby was so out of shape during that year when Jeff Van Gundy finally put him in the game. The man was hyperventilating, and Jeff
Yeah.
Van Gundy turned his back on him.
He wasn't fat. He wasn't fat, y'all. He just wasn't in
He
game
just
shape
he just wasn't in game shape
because he wasn't playing.
because he wasn't playing.
Because he wasn't playing. So you just want to clarify that it wasn't
Right.
like he came out there pot belly. He just didn't
Right.
have his wind up.
Right. But for the mere fact that at some point in time, he either looked himself in the mirror and said, I got to get going here. So the next time I get my opportunity, I got to show them what I can really do, which is what he did. Because all of a sudden, he was playing like he was one of the top 15 ball players in the game in the playoffs when it really mattered.
But like,
Can't take that away from him.
But like people said about Camby, his during his early years, why do you have to motivate this kid to play? Why do you have to motivate him to play?
You think everybody rolls out the bed like LeBron, like Michael Jordan?
No,
Like,
no, I never said
superior talented, superior, has the mental capacity like of a Kobe. Everybody doesn't have that. That's why you have assistant coaches to work on helping guys develop. That's why you have a developmental team.
Right.
Freezy. Everybody doesn't have that. You know what it is, Freezy, to roll into a city with a pocket full of money and everybody trying to get into your pocket. Every woman from the age of 16 and up. No, I said it. Yes, I did. Trying to get into your pocket. Every shyster, every charlatan trying to sell you a deal, trying to tell you that there's a new water. There's a new shoe. Better yet, you could start your own recording company. Right. Remember the 90s? All of these players wanted to be rappers, setting up their own recording company, not focusing on the game itself.
Yeah, Kobe had an album.
Okay. I remember that. I remember Tyra Banks having Kobe's name in studs around her belly button. Remember that? Remember Dana Barrows had an album? The NBA put out a collection of ballers who rap. Remember Iverson had bars with Jadakiss?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Not everybody has that mental fortitude to stay the course. So yeah, you need help. Guys need help in their motivation. Absolutely.
Right. Right. Okay.
So you tell your cousin, right, that he needs to, check himself on his basketball knowledge when it comes to Marcus Camby being a bust. Because then what's a bust?
Yeah. I could see a situation where I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I just feel like Camby didn't live up to because with all the physical gifts that Marcus Camby had, this dude should have been a 20-10, 3-block a game, back skater into the Hall of Fame. This dude could have been Chris Bosh before Chris Bosh. Right?
I'll give you that.
You know what I'm saying? All the physical gifts, man.
I'll give you that. But bust, no.
Because the dude, You saw some of the stuff he did at UMass. With
Yeah,
and so UMass is another team that you slept on. They didn't win a championship. They should have. They lost in the Final Four.
they were not. They were not as
But
good as that
but
UNLV team.
Carmelo Travieso, Edgar
They were
Padilla,
not. They were not as good as that UNLV team.
Dante Bright,
They
Dante
were
Dingle.
not as good as that
But
UNLV team.
I'm trying to
Look,
recall their names off the top of my. What's the power forward that left the year before '95? I forget, but he wound up going to the Pistons. He played power forward and
I know
Camby
he.
played center.
I know who you're talking about. I know you're
Um,
talking about.
um, but Camby though, if you weigh what he could have been versus what he became,
Not a bust.
I could hear the bust argument.
No,
Yeah, man.
the bust. The bust argument, like I said, is Joe Smith.
Yeah, hey Lou Rowe. Hey, good job, E Gibson. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's him. I
I
think
remember
that's
Blue
him.
Roll. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
Aloha Kandi is a bust. Joe Smith
Aloha
is a
Kandi played a
bust.
long time in the league, bro.
Yeah, but Aloha Kandi doesn't have any Marcus Camby moments.
Yeah.
He's not dominant at any point in time in his career. Joe Smith is not dominant at any point in time in his
Yeah, he played a long
career.
time in the league.
Big Country Reeves is not dominant as Marcus Camby at any point in time in his career. I can go on. Stop this nonsense.
Camby, if somebody said Marcus Camby is a bust, I could legit listen to arguments on both sides, man.
You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy.
I just laid out.
You're absolutely crazy.
Because the dude
again,
for the number 2 pick in the draft not to average double-digit points is crazy.
Okay. Men lie, women lie, numbers lie. There is numbers within the numbers.
No, because you're
like I said. No, but like I said,
you're using the certain number argument because you're gonna say, well, just because he didn't average 10 points a game, that means he's bust. And then at the same time, on the polarizing side, you'll say, well, he led the league in blocks.
His intangibles, Freezy, his intangibles are so high in comparison to the guys that I mentioned. I remember Joe Smith at Maryland. They were calling him Elijah-Wan.
Yeah.
They were calling him Elijah-Wan.
Look what he could do from the post.
Look what he do from the post. Look when he got to Philly, it was like, how long did he last there? 2 years?
No, he was drafted by Golden State #1 in the '95 draft.
Was it Golden State? No, was it Golden State?
Yes.
It wasn't Philly?
It was Golden State.
Okay. How long did he last there?
Golden State.
He became a journeyman real quick.
Golden State took him over Kevin Garnett.
Okay.
Yeah, so I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
You can't put that on. Camby was a perennial guy on teams that made the playoffs all the time. Look at what happened to the Knicks when they traded him and Sprewell.
Listen to that the top 5, right? The draft. This is the top 5 picks of that draft. Joe Smith goes to Golden State, right? Antonio McDyess is drafted by the Clippers.
Yep.
Jerry Stackhouse is drafted 3rd by Philadelphia.
Philly.
Rasheed Wallace is drafted 4
by Portland. By Washington.
By the Washington Bullets, right?
Right.
Number 5, Kevin Garnett is drafted by Minnesota. Yep. That might be one of the great top 5s we've ever seen.
No, it's not one of the great top 5s. No.
Yeah, I would put it up there. I said one of the great top 5s that we've ever seen. Everybody in that top 5 played 15 years in the league or more.
Joe Smith played 15 years or more because he's 7 feet tall.
Joe Smith played 16 years in the NBA.
He's 7 feet tall.
No, Joe
Big
Smith
guys. Yeah, okay. He's 6'11".
6'10", 225.
He's not great. He's never. What's his What's his career average? If you want to go numbers, what's his career average? 6?
10-6. About the same as
For
about the
for
same as Camby.
for the overall number one player who
Right.
was never dominant,
Right. Never.
never had a stretch of dominance,
But
just a role player.
his game was plain, bro.
He's a role player. When Golden State drafted him, that they did not envision 10-6. They envisioned, you know what? We're finally gonna make up for the blunder with Weber, with letting him out of that, signing that stupid contract that we let him sign, and he was able to leave after 1 year.
And Lou Roll was drafted in the second round by Detroit. He should have stayed in school, bro.
That's not a. I mean, I understand that when you're the number one draft pick, like a bust is the cat that Philly drafted a couple of years ago, who's now in Orlando, who can't shoot. That's a bust.
No, man.
That's a bust.
And he averaged 15 points a game when he played.
Yeah, but as you said, injuries are a part of the game. Odin is a bust. Okay, those are busts. If injuries are part of the equation, those are busts. You can't not someone that was a vital part of a team's success, multiple team success.
Who was vital?
Marcus Camby was vital in '99.
Yeah, he was
vital. Remember that. Remember Ewing.
You ain't fooling me, bro.
Ewing tears his Achilles.
I remember that. He shouldn't even been playing.
Right.
He shouldn't even play.
Right.
Right. When he had remember the high ankle sprain. You remember that? You remember the high ankle sprain that kept him out for a long time, right? So he kept trying to play on it, hobble, play, leave, go. Is Ewing gonna play tonight? We'll see. He's gonna test it out. Get out there, play. Oh, it's too bad. They should have shelved Ewing. So this is why I tell you that the Knicks never make the right move, right? Because even this year, when Derrick Rose's ankle was clicky, remember Rose's ankle was clicky for about 2 or 3 weeks, right?
Yes.
Because he couldn't get around on the floor, and you knew something was going to happen. Either he was going to sit, something was going to happen, but he couldn't continue to play on it, right? The Knicks didn't go out and get a veteran point guard. So you knew that they were tanking this. AD, man, listen, we got to get out of here, man, because the game about to come on.
Absolutely.
You and Charlie Ward. Man, maybe we need to bring Charlie Ward cousin on.
We will. Yes. We got to bring Charlie Ward cousin on so we can pick up on Charlie Ward's career here as a Knick. But as always, Uncle Freezy, the journey is too short. Once we get crack-a-lacking, and talking about these Knicks.
You get emotional about these Knicks, bro.
Marcus
Camby is a bust, bro. You just need to admit that.
No.
Marcus Camby is a bust.
That's like saying your Green Street Championships wasn't really nothing.
Yeah,
that's like saying
I got proof
they wasn't really nothing.
When I walk in there, I see the signs. Ham Hocks on sale. And Uncle Freezy is the 1991-92 Green Street boxing champ.
And you're right there in the middle of the mushrooms and the chicken breast. I understand. I understand all of that. I understand all of that.
Right over by the fresh chicken livers.
But there's certain things that I hold near and dear, and those '90s teams I hold near and dear.
I see that. I see that. But Camby is a bust.
No, he's not.
Camby is a bust. Yeah,
so you can get on what you get on. You and your cousin could go have that conversation. Y'all can sit around and drink mint julep and lemonade and whatever else. But
I love Camby though. But I love Camby, bro. I love Camby. But then when you weigh where he was drafted versus what he produced.
You see, again, Freezy, you like who you like. I mentioned Joe Smith, and your stomach, you went, but I like Joe Smith.
Yeah, I like this game. If he played in the modern day, he'd be good.
But he would.
But he played in the banger era. He played in the banger era. Finesse power forwards.
But he played 16 years.
I know.
So he went from one era to another era.
Is Kwame Brown a bust?
You know what? He's not a bust because he played using your argument. He played a lot of years, and it's hard to call when you come in at 18, 19 years old and you play that many years and you're a bust. Was he did he do what the team projected him to do? That any team put him on a team? No, he didn't, but he was serviceable. Joe
Right.
Smith was serviceable.
Right.
Kwame Brown, and Kwame, don't kill me because I know you got your own and you're out here killing the podcast game and so forth, but he just wasn't that guy. That's no shame.
Right.
This league of players, there's only been some less than 5,000 ball players in the history of its game. In the history of its game, less than a tenth of it are great.
I know that.
Less than a tenth of it is great. So it's no shame. As Carmy Brown said, like, look, I bought my mama a house
Right.
off the gate. Bought my mama a house. I did this,
Right.
I did that. I spent 15 years in this league.
Right.
So, great, no. Good, no. Average, no. Serviceable, yes.
Okay. Okay.
And let's leave it right there. Nick fans, again, thank you very much for taking this journey with myself and Uncle Freezy on these old school Sunday show, the
And the
realest morning show,
conversations.
and the conversations.
The one thing you're gonna get from us
Absolutely,
is a
absolutely,
polarizing
uh,
conversation.
absolutely.
A conversation that makes sense on both sides, right? If we don't do the one-way conversation, right? We ain't
No,
gonna do no, hey, Thibodeau need to be his rotations. We ain't gonna do that. Y'all can get that from anywhere. And I would advise go get that from anywhere. Because you know what I'm saying? Because here we want to hear smart people talk about and deliberate both sides and make a reasoned statement, right? Based in fact and opinion, right? Because you can do both.
uh,
You can do both,
absolutely,
like with me and AD and Marcus Camby being a bust, right?
uh, absolutely.
I'm on the side of not wanting to believe Camby is a bust, but then when you look at some stuff,
You can't be a Nick fan and have that belief. But then again,
I know,
you
but
know,
but you,
but then
but
again, you also thought that Bill Cartwright was a great ball player, and I'm not going to go there. Knicks fans, Knicks family for life. You know what it is.
all right, y'all.